When was the last time you actually exhaled? Not just breathed, but really let it go. I'm talking about that kind of exhale where your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, and for just a moment, you stop carrying everything. When was the last time you had that? If you had to think about it, then this episode is for you. Stay with me. Greetings and welcome to the Elevated Flow Playbook. The Elevated Flow Playbook is where I share my expertise and my passion and experiences as a coach and as an athlete. These are solo episodes of the Elevated Flow podcast, where I spotlight elite and everyday female athletes, mostly over 40, sharing how they elevate their game and their flow in sports, wellness, work, and life. And it's my birthday month. Go shawty, it's your birthday. I already partied cause my birthday was last week. But anyway, it's my birthday month. So I woke up this morning feeling so great. And on my birthday, I woke up with so much gratitude in my heart. Another year, another breath, another chance to do the work that I absolutely love and I believe I was put here to do. And I don't take that lightly. And I know some of y'all don't either. So before we dive in, I want to tell you two things. Number one, today's episode is personal, like really personal. We're going to talk about life and death because death is a part of life. And we're going to talk about a movie that I know my Gen Xers especially are going to remember from 1995. Whew, I feel old just saying that. But anyway, and we're going to talk about what it really means to exhale. Number two, I have a special birthday gift for you, but you have to wait until the end of the episode. And I know it's my birthday, but I am going to give you a gift. And my gift from you to me is for you to watch this full episode. So I promise it'll be worth it. All right, let's get into it. This might seem kind of somber, but I want to start this episode off with a story about my maternal grandmother. She was a strong, fashionable, beautiful Black woman. She was short and spunky, but she didn't play, and she took care of business. I mean, she was no joke. She loved her family, and we were really, really close. I had the opportunity, and I would say the honor and the privilege of being with her when she took her last breath. Now, I never knew until then that the dying process could be so beautiful. What I experienced in those last days of her life changed something in me forever. When someone is leaving this earth, when they're making their final transition, the last thing their body does is take an inhale. Now, let me say that in another way. The threshold between life and death is in the exhale. As long as you are exhaling, you are alive. As long as you are exhaling, you have time. As long as you are exhaling, there is still something left for you to do. I was with my grandmother in those final days, and I made a decision. I decided that as long as I have breath in my body, as long as I am still exhaling, I'm going to live like it means something. And I'm not saying it's always been easy, but that's what I want for you too. Because here's what I know about the women who listen to this podcast. Y'all are exhaling, but you're not always living like it. You're breathing, but you're holding so much in that you've actually forgotten what it feels like to release. You're holding on to so much that it's making you sick. You're holding in so much that it's manifesting dis-ease in your body. You're holding in anger, resentment, loneliness, hurt, pain, and you've gotten so used to holding it in, you don't even know what it feels like to release it anymore. So today, I want to help you change that. Now, I need to take y'all back to 1995. How many of you have seen or remember the movie Waiting to Exhale? Now, I know, like I said earlier, my Gen Xers, y'all know all about the movie with Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, Loretta Devine, Layla Rashawn. 4 Black women, 4 different lives, one shared experience. They were all holding their breath. Now, when most people think about that movie, they think about the men, but they think about the relationships. But here's what I want you to understand about that film that it wasn't really about the men at all. It was about women who stopped giving themselves permission to live. Women who were waiting for the right moment, the right person, the right circumstances before they allowed themselves to exhale. Sound familiar? And Miss Bernadine, she broke my heart and healed it at the same time. Y'all remember that part. Here's a woman who gave up her MBA, her career, her dreams, her whole self. She poured everything into a man and a marriage, and that man left her for another woman. And what did Bernadine do? I know y'all remember this part. She packed up his car with all his clothing and set that thing on fire. And she stood there and watched it burn. That was a woman who had been holding it in for so long, so compressed, so suppressed, so suffocated, that when she finally released, it came out as an explosion. Now, trust me, with all this going on right now in the world and in this current political climate, I can understand if some of you want to blow some ish up. I digress. That's what happens when you never exhale. The pressure builds and eventually it has to go somewhere. But here's the beautiful thing about that movie. The exhale didn't come from a man. It didn't come from revenge. It really came from each of the women. Savannah, Bernadine, Glow, and Robin. They were each other's permission to breathe. That friendship was the exhale. Now I want you to sit with that for a second. Who is your exhale? Who are the women in your life that can let you let it go? And more importantly, what are you still holding on to that you need to release? Okay, so I want to teach you something. Those of you that have worked with me know that I work within a framework called E.L.E.V.A.T.E, and it's E.L.E.V.A.T.E. It's an acronym, and it's a 7-stage journey, and every client I work with starts at the very same place. They start with the E. They start with the exhale. The exhale. When I say exhale, I don't mean giving up. I don't mean quitting. And I don't mean walking away from your responsibilities. What I mean is that you can't pour into yourself or receive the things you want out of life if you're still already full and holding on to everything you don't want. No, it sounds counterintuitive, but in order to receive anything, you have to do it with an open hand, an open heart. Let it go, sis. Let it go. So nestled inside of this exhale stage is a method I call BREATHE, and it's also an acronym. It stands for balance, regulate, energize, align, train, harmonize. And the final E is exhale and begin again. Because exhaling is not the end. It's the reset. Every exhale is an invitation to begin again. Now, I always say the more you move, the longer you'll be able to move. And movement starts with the breath. You cannot move well, you cannot train, you cannot recover, you can't perform if you never exhale. Now, when I'm working with clients, I always remind them to breathe. Now, I know breathing is natural and it's automatic, but there's a phenomenon called the Valsalva maneuver. It's when the brain senses a heavy load or high physical stress, and it automatically forces you to hold your breath to protect yourself. It can be used strategically by power lifters, but a lot of people do it unconsciously while they're exercising. So I always tell my clients during our sessions, breathe. Make sure you're breathing. Breathe. And sometimes people say that that's helpful. And because I understand that, breathing, I make sure that I cue them all the time. So right now, what I want to do is I want us to do an exercise together. The first thing I want you to do is exhale all of the air out of your lungs for a count of 4. Let it go. Then we're going to inhale for 4 counts, hold that inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold that exhale for 4 counts, and then repeat. All right? So we're going to do 2 rounds of that together. So let's go. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. That right there, that's life. That's intentionality. That's nervous system regulation. That is self-leadership. Now, I want you to ask yourself one question today. What have I been holding on to, and what do I need to exhale? Yes, I made those 2 questions into one. What is it that I've been holding on to, and what do I need to exhale? Now, you don't have to answer it out loud or right now, but I want you to let that sit in your body as we move through the rest of this episode. Now, just from doing that breathing exercise, you should feel a lot lighter right now. That's what happens when you exhale with intention. Okay. So it's time for one of my favorite parts of every episode, and that is how you elevate your flow. This week, I want to talk about blue spaces. Now, y'all know I'm always talking about being on or by the water. There's a reason for that. And it's not just because I'm a rower or a rowing coach, because I was doing that long before I became a rower or a rowing coach. But being near the water, a lake, a river, an ocean, even a pond activates your parasympathetic nervous system. And that's exactly what we just tapped into together with that breathing exercise. That breath work, that was your nervous system getting permission to calm down, to feel safe. In plain language, it helps your body exhale. It lowers cortisol and it quiets the noise. It gives your nervous system permission to stop bracing for impact. And for my birthday this year, I spent most of the day by and on the water. I started off with a 5-mile run walk. So I ran 3 miles and walked 2 at the nearby lake. And then I just stood there. Taking in the beauty, breathing, and thanking God for another day, another year around the sun. And then I went to brunch with a couple of friends, and then I was back at the water again, sitting, breathing, listening to music, moving, being. And then I got on a boat ride for a sunset cruise and watched the sun go down over the water. And when I tell y'all I danced and had a good old time, I was just being free, enjoying life, being fully present. And when I tell you it truly blessed my soul, as it always does. This is actually a tradition I started over 10 years ago, making sure that I spend time at the water on my birthday. Now, when I was in California, for 9 years straight, I went to Catalina Island. Lake Ray Hubbard was good enough for this year. My heart was so full, and I was so excited that one of my really good friends chose to spend that day with me at the water. That is what Blue Space does for you. So this week, your assignment is simple. Find your blue space. Now, most green and blue spaces, people are at least about 10 minutes away from it. So I want you to find a blue space. It doesn't have to be a lake. It can even be a fountain in a park. It could be a running a bath, or just sitting quietly by the water. Whatever it is, get near water for at least 20 minutes this week. No phone, no agenda, just you and the water. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come back to this video and comment below, or send me a DM on Instagram at Flow Life Fitness and tell me where your blue space is and what that experience was like for you. Now we've come to the segment that is closest to my heart on this podcast, and that is passing the torch. Passing the torch to the next generation, because everything we do here, everything is bigger than us. And that is something that I learned years and years ago. It's about who's watching. It's about who's coming up behind us, who needs to see us doing life. Now, I recently got a text from a young woman named Alexis that I met at a rowing coaches conference back in December. Now, Alexis discovered rowing in high school and fell in love with the sport. And that love took her all the way to B.R.E.A.T.H.E, the Advanced Rowing Initiative of the Northeast at Saratoga Rowing Association in Saratoga Springs, New York, one of the most elite high-performance rowing programs in this country. A program built for athletes with national team and Olympic aspirations. So she reached out to me about coming to Dallas. She wants to come and share her story and connect with our community to show young women what is possible when you say yes to a sport that not everyone looks like you in. And of course, I said yes immediately without hesitation, because someone said yes to me. Someone opened a door and said, come in. There's room for you here. And not just in the sport of rowing, but just in life. And that changed the trajectory of my life. So Alexis is the next generation, and she deserves to walk into rooms where people look like her, where someone has gone before her and left the door open. So I want to ask you something about passing the torch in your life. Who in your life is waiting for you to reach back? Who is standing behind you, watching what you do, how you're living life, needing to see what is possible? It doesn't have to be rowing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in sports. It could be your niece, your neighbor's daughter, a young woman at your job. Who can you identify right now to pass the torch to? Think about it, then go do it. Okay, so I told you I had a birthday gift for you, and I am keeping my promise. I created a resource called Move with Purpose. 52 strength training workouts. Now, that's basically one complete strength workout for every single week of the year. It used to be my Movement Monday. If you follow me for any time, you know that I did Movement Monday for several years, where I posted a workout every year or every Monday. So it encompasses every major muscle group with video links included and equipment options for every level. So whether you're brand new to strength training or you've been at it for years, this ebook meets you exactly where you are. And as I always say, the more you move, the longer you'll be able to move. This is how we move with purpose. Basically, that's $1 per workout, which is honestly a steal. But because it's my birthday month, flipping my age backwards, and I'm offering it to you for $25. That is my birthday gift to you. So to grab a copy, click the link in the description below. And when you do, you'll also be joining my email community. And my email community is where I share exclusive fitness and wellness content, early access to programs, and real talk that I don't put anywhere else. And if you want to go even deeper, If you're ready to be in a room with women who are actively doing this work, actively exhaling, actively being in green and blue spaces, actively being outside, I want to personally invite you to join the Afterflow. The Afterflow is the Elevated Woman Inner Circle on Patreon. So for $27 a month, you get community, you get coaching, you get early access to the podcast. You also get the extra conversations that I have with our guests that don't make the public episode. So this content is designed specifically for women like you. This is the room where we exhale together. Both links are in the description for the ebook, strength training ebook, as well as the Elevated Flow Inner Circle. Birthday pricing is only for this month, the month of May. So don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Click the link in the description and secure your copy. Now, before I let you go, I just want to leave you with this. Every exhale is an act of courage. Every time you release what you've been carrying, every time you choose to let go instead of holding on, you are choosing yourself. You are still here. You are still exhaling. And that means you still have time to become everything you were meant to be. Thank you for spending some of your day with me today. I receive it as your birthday gift to me. Thank you. Until next time, this is Coach Flo signing off. Remember to find your zone and elevate your flow. Peace.
1, 2,